Hello, welcome to the second episode of the Wednesday Lunch Make with me, Jack Davison. Glad to have you here today. So, today we're going to be working on cranberry muffins. We had some leftover ingredients from our November craft bags. And in those craft bags, we put together kits to make cranberry muffins. We did not include wet ingredients like milk and oil and water, but we did include all the dry ingredients like the flour, the sugar, the cranberries, which we had dehydrated, baking powder, stuff like that. And we had some left over, so I decided that I would share with you these muffins. Everyone that tried them really liked them, and I did them as muffins in muffin pans, and I did them as a muffin bread. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to make, traditional muffins from scratch. You're going to want to start with all your ingredients. You know from last time that I like to have my ingredients organized before I start. So let me just take a moment and do all that. Got it. Okay. So, I've got 1 3/4 cup of my all-purpose flour, 8 tablespoons of regular white sugar, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. If you're using fresh cranberries, you're going to need a cup of fresh cranberries, but if you're using dried cranberries like I am, you're going to use 3/4 of a cup, and you're going to have to rehydrate them. We're going to take a break right here and explain that. To rehydrate these cranberries, you want to boil some water. Get yourself a glass bowl or a metal bowl that you can put really hot water in. Take those cranberries, drop them right in there. When that water is boiling, you're going to pour just enough water in so it covers the cranberries up, and you're going to let that sit for like 10 or 15 minutes. You're going to dump it back out. You're going to strain these in a colander or a strainer, and then your cranberries will be ready to put in with the rest of your ingredients. Alright, carrying on, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a large egg that I remembered this time, 3/4 cup whole milk, and 1/3 cup vegetable oil. About the milk. So I bought milk when I started doing these videos, and it has since elapsed. It's okay to cook with spoiled milk. Now if it's all curdled up and it's chunky, it's starting to turn colors, and it smells, like you're gonna when you smell it, then don't use that. But this milk is only a couple days past its expiration date. It has a little bit of stink to it, but it's okay to use in baking. And some bakers actually recommend that you use spoiled milk in your cooking because it gives a little bit of extra flavor. Away we go! So, I got all my stuff. I've got my mixing utensils. And the first thing I said we're going to want to do is rehydrate these cranberries. Got my water going until it boils, whatever. So, I'm going to put all the dry contents into this big bowl. So I'm going to take my flour, carefully, just to not get it everywhere. Take my sugar, sift it in there. My baking powder, and my wee bit of salt. Just toss that right in there. I'm going to take my whisk and just stir this around a little bit. Get these dry ingredients stirred up good. Oh, you need a muffin pan. 2 things. You're going to want this 12-cup muffin tin. If you have a 6-cup and it's bigger, the cook times are just a little bit different. You can put the paper muffin holders in the tins, or if you're like me and I don't really like to have those, you end up losing muffin, you have to peel them off. If you're handing them out, it's cute, but if you're just making this for yourself or your family at home, you don't need it. I like to use this baking spray. I think I got it at Walmart probably. I didn't get it. My fiance buys everything. So what I do with this, I'm not going to do it yet because it's wasteful now. You're going to spray it in all these holes. It works really well as long as you put it on pretty liberally. If you don't have this, or you don't want to go pick it up, you can just use regular butter. Just put butter in all these tins. This is quicker, easier. They're both going to be relatively about the same amount of mess, but they will serve the same purpose. Stop screaming at me! Shh! It's okay now. It's okay. Ooh, that's hot. Don't burn yourself for the sake of bacon. So I got my hot water, and I'm just gonna, ooh, nifty. Pour that right in there. And just enough to cover the cranberries. You don't need to use a lot. Save some for your afternoon tea, which I'm actually probably going to do. Who doesn't love a good cup of tea? You know, take your spatula. Make sure you separate them out, because sometimes the dry cranberries stick together. So, break it up a little bit, stir it around, and leave it alone. Alright, so these are all mixed up here. Now it says to make a small hole in the dry ingredients. That means, you know, take something and press a hole in there that you're going to pour these wet ingredients into. So, oh no, it's okay. Oh, I lost a little bit. Got it. Dirty. Then I take my milk, put it with my egg. Little spoiled milk, no problem. My vegetable oil, again, you know, make sure you let this all drip out. Get that out of here. Alright, so now we're going to mix these up real quick. Now this recipe does not take as long as the donuts. You can really whip these muffins out in about 30 minutes. But they only take about, you know, 18 minutes to bake, you know, maybe 20 minutes if you're making really big muffins. So I got that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now I'm going to pour it in the hole in it, the little crater I made there, and it didn't fit. I'm just going to mix this up now until it's moist. You want to make sure you get all the flour mixed in well. You don't want to have any dry pockets. If you leave any dry space in this muffin mixture, or any mixture really, you just end up with a bite of just dry flour in your finished product. And that's no bueno, as they say. Now, if you did make the donuts last week, you will notice this is a very different type of dough. This is not stringy at all. It's kind of mushy, kind of fluffy almost, because muffins should be fluffy. But it's a lot different, the consistency of this muffin dough. Looks like I got pretty much all of it there. Now I'm just waiting for these guys. In the meantime, start the oven. You always got to make sure your oven's up to temperature before you start cooking. This recipe calls for it to be at 400 degrees. Now, if you're going to cook this as a bread, you know, you're like, I'm going to try it. I really like the muffins, and I want to try it as a bread. Something different. That's fine. Cook it at a little lower temperature. I would say 350, 375, and expect to cook it for no less than 25 or 30 minutes. But let's start the oven. 400 degrees. Oh, it's on. So, this is still looking good. Don't let it sit too long to lose some of its airy properties. Those are still going, but let me find my colander. You coming to my town? Making problems? That was probably bad. Shouldn't have done that. Get these bad boys prepped. So I like to put this on fairly liberally. You do not want to fill up one of these cups with this spray though. I can't even see it in that light. That's terrible. I've got them right here. Just like that. It's a quick. Ta-da! Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. I can get this stuff out of my way. It's always nice to have a nice clean workstation, in my opinion. Where's the garbage pail? Kobe. Those are looking pretty good there. Give them a couple more minutes. Okay. These are probably done. Now. So, I was going to take this over to the sink real quick. Now some of you probably wondering, hey Jack, how come we have to do that? Why can't we just use dry cranberries? Fun fact. Cranberries, and most, if not all, other fruits have natural moisture in them. They have water built in. Dried cranberries, they had it all taken out. And because the dried cranberries have no moisture, if you put them in by themselves without rehydrating them, they're going to suck moisture from the batter, from the rest of the mix. So, to give your nice fluffy muffins a nice moist taste, texture, flavor, consistency, moist consistency. That sounds right. Now they're not going to puff up and, you know, be nice little circles like you would buy fresh cranberries at the store. They're just going to be a little wet. They're going to be maybe a little bit plumped, and if you squeeze them, like a little juice will come out. You just have to put enough water back into them that they don't take moisture out from the rest of the mix. Here we are. You only want to fill these up about 3/4 of the way. If you put them right up to the top, 1, you'll run out of mix. 2, they'll spill over, they'll burn, and they'll kind of turn into like one big muffin blob on top. Nobody wants one big muffin blob. They want their own little muffins. So you're only going to fill them up, you know, just a little bit past halfway. If you don't get it right, that's okay. It's your first time. You learn. You get better. That's what we're doing. We're learning. Super fun. So, just going to take a little bit. Just drop it in there. That's about right. A little settle. You can add, remember, you can add more. If you didn't put enough in, you can always put a little bit more in. However, it's hard to take it out once it's already in there. So, don't overdo it. Underdoing it's okay. I might have overdone that one just a little bit. Now you can use less cranberries if you're not a big cranberry fan. Or, you can use other types of fruits. This is an acceptable recipe for blueberry muffins as well. Now I'm not going to put any sugar topping on it. I don't think that this recipe needs any more sugar than it already has. You can get the big sugar crystals. And this is, you know, fine sugar. And then there's extra fine sugar that they use for other types of baking, which I do not know how to do. But you can get, you know, bigger chunks of sugar to put on top of it. I don't think it's necessary. These are pretty sweet. The cranberries are pretty sweet flavor. And there's already sugar in the recipe, but you can if you want to. But you can put blueberries in it instead. If you want to, you can put raisins. It'd be an interesting take on this. If you try it, and you're like, I'm going to try something different, and you decide to put raisins in it, let me know how it turns out. Go now, getting close. Now see, I might have overdone a couple of them, put too much in, and now I'm getting close to the end, and I'm kind of running out. So that's why, like I said, it's important to try to not overdo it, especially in the beginning. See, now I'm at the last one, and I have like nothing left. I have a little bit that I'm going to scrape out of here. That's definitely not enough to make a good muffin. So, I'm going to do what I told you is hard to do. Now this is the tougher part. Take the tip of your spatula and just scoop out a little bit on the ones that are high. Don't take out too much, just enough. Make sure you get some cranberries. Come here. Gotcha. That one's a little high, that one's a little low. I'm going to put a little more in there. You know, unless you've done this like a bajillion times, then they might not all come out perfect or perfectly even. Like, I never expect anything that I do to turn out well, because I haven't done this a lot. But I've been pleasantly surprised. But I've had some good guidance from the internet, from friends and family, from the other people I work with that have given me suggestions. And so far, everything's turned out pretty well. Now again, as tempting as it may be to lick this spatula and the delicious batter that it holds, it's got raw egg on it, so don't do it. I'm going to tell you every time. There's somebody out there that's just not listening. Now, here's the important part. Before you go throwing these in the oven, make sure you set a timer. Now, you can have an old-fashioned timer. You can have a spring timer that you wind and it sets it to a certain amount of time. But most people nowadays just use their phone. Everyone's got an application that has a clock on it. So I go to my timer setting and I'll set it for 18 minutes. Make sure you do minutes, not hours. You do not want to burn these things. And you're going to take these and you're going to put them in the oven. Now don't put them all the way in the bottom rack. You want to put them right in the middle of the oven. Careful, careful. Right in the center. Start your timers. And then you wait for 18 minutes. And you're going to check them. Excuse me. The next thing you're going to do is grab yourself toothpicks. The universal tool for making sure that things are done in the oven. And you'll see when we pull these out that, you know, they might look on the outside, might be, you know, a nice golden brown color, but they might not be cooked all the way through just because it looks good on the outside. So what we'll do is we'll pull them out, we'll put them on, you know, some heat pads so we don't mess up our counter or anything, but I'll put that down and we'll check them with the toothpicks. All you have to do is poke it in, pull it out, and if it comes out clean with nothing on it, you're good to go. If you poke it in and pull it out and there's stuff that's stuck to it, like the batter, then you got to put them back in for a little while. Usually it's maybe like a minute or two, not very long, but you want to make sure that it's done when it comes out. Okay, we got 16 minutes. Go watch a TikTok. Oh, we're doing good. We're making muffins on a Friday. Gonna be so good. How much time do I have left? 9 minutes! Oh man, I'm gonna have to get a snack. Okay, I'm tired. So we've got a couple minutes left on our muffins. We're gonna take them out real quick just to make sure we're not overcooking them, because sometimes you do that. Make sure you use an oven mitt. Oh, don't those look delicious? But we're gonna check them real quick, you know, make sure we don't overdo them. A little bit of stuff still comes off, so then you really need that, you know, extra 1 more minute. Let that timer run out and they'll be just right. And now we wait. Oh, they're done. 10 out of 10 would eat again. Shh, quiet, we're making muffins. Now, if you're looking at these, make sure you're always grabbing this with a pot pan hand on. They're dark around the edges. This one spilled over a little bit, and that's kind of burnt up, crispy, but that's just going to fall right off. You know, and these should pop right out. See how easy they're coming out there? And they all popped up really good. You know, they're all nice little cone head shape there, and they'll settle down a little bit when they cool off. But they're crispy on the outside, they're nice and firm. Those are good. Those are going to be some sweet muffins, my dude. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You know, I'm going to let these cool down. Usually wait like 5-6 minutes. And I'll grab, you know, so take a bowl. I'm going to take them a towel. I'm going to put them in there. I'll push that towel down just a little bit. Oh yeah. Those are nice. That one's mine. I put them in here nice and gentle like. Very cute arrangement. Now if these are too hot to grab, don't do this yet. Give them a couple more minutes. They'll cool down eventually. A warm muffin is nice, but a scalding hot muffin will burn your mouth, and no amount of milk will rectify this situation. That one's mine. But as you can see, all came out pretty good. There's a little bit, you know, but that'll just scrape off. Hot still. I'll just take this, and I'll fold the towel over it. And it's a tasty treat to share with your friends and family. But the most important part, as we know, oh, want to do this together? Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Look at that steaming. That's pretty good. Let me see if I can focus this for you. Look at that nice fluffy texture. It's well cooked all the way through. It's a happy muffin. Here's my other half. Looks so good. It's nice and moist. It's not too dry. Now, as you can see, I might have not mixed it up enough. There's like no cranberries over here, but there's a bunch right there. So maybe it was a little light on cranberries. Maybe it mixed up enough. So that's something you can learn for next time. It's important to sample your own product. And let's go. If I had a glass of milk that wasn't spoiled, this would go great with the muffin that I'm eating right now. Now it's your turn. Like I said, this took maybe 30 minutes. This is a quick thing to do. Great snack to have after dinner. There's nothing wild that you need. You know, you don't have to get any strange ingredients. All it was is flour, sugar, baking powder. The only thing you might not have around your house already is the cranberries. And, you know, that's not too hard to get. You can get enough cranberries for this recipe at the gas station if you need to, probably. Just a couple little bags or something. Super good. Great way to end the day. I'm going to go finish this up and share it with the rest of the people here. Maybe bring some home. Have 10 or 12 later. Make another batch. Have those. It's going to be a good time. So, that's the next episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your muffins with the friends and family. See you next week. We'll make something else and you'll eat it. So will I. It'll be good. Peace.